The central bank's monetary policy media briefing was held this morning, where expectations were high for the announcement of a raising of interest rates. However, what the central bank announced was a continuation of its past stances as Sri Lanka wrestled through the pandemic-led downturn, which CBSL Economic Research Director Dr. Chandranath Amarasekara says came down to global growth prospects and energy prices.
The decision was to maintain policy interest rates at current levels. Accordingly, the standing deposit facility rate is maintained at 5%, the standing lending facility rate is maintained at 6%, and the bank rate at 9%, and the statutory reserve ratio is also maintained at 4%. If I take you through some of the factors that were considered by the Monetary Board, starting from the global side, the International Monetary Fund released its World Economic Outlook a couple of days ago, and accordingly, they are expecting global economy to grow by 5.9% in 2021 and 4.9% in 2022. And they have revised the growth projections for 2021 slightly downwards, and advanced economies are now expected to grow by 5.2% in 2021, and the emerging market and developing economies are expected to grow by 6.4%. If you look at the global energy prices, you see a drastic increase in global energy prices in recent months. Crude oil, Brent crude oil, has increased by 62.2% year to date, and LP gas world market prices have increased by 74.4% year to date.
Fielding media questions today, Central Bank Governor Ajit Nivat Cabral meanwhile expressed his usual confident manner on the country's reserve situation, revealing that it isn't as bad as it's made out to be, with $4.1 billion remaining in Sri Lanka's dollar war chest.
Net foreign assets may be slightly weaker than what we would have expected it to be or what we would have liked it to be, but at the same time, it's not just a cut-off point that we should be looking at. We have made that very clear right throughout. As at end of 2019, Sri Lanka had $7.6 billion in reserves. Thereafter, in 2020, we repaid $6 billion as debt repayments. This year so far, we have repaid $6 billion. Even after that, we still have $2.6 billion with us, plus another $1.5 billion as a swap that we have from the People's Bank of China, totaling up to about $4.1 billion.
Meanwhile, addressing the exchange rate issues witnessed in the past months, with the central bank rate poles apart from private banks and the black market, he added that the central bank has taken steps to solve the issue by ensuring a sufficient supply of US dollars to allow banks to keep to the official rate.
There was the central bank's rate. There were some banks and customers, importers and exporters, officially dealing with their dollars. With that, we also had the black market operating in a different way. So we were not satisfied with that. That's why we made sure that we provide sufficient dollars to ensure that the banks do not trade at any other rate other than what is at the band, and that is happening now. I can assure you that the banks, it is happening. And even the exchange rate at which the grey market is operating has shrunk quite appreciably. We also sometimes keep a tab on those numbers carefully. So we are happy that it is going in the right direction, and soon it will come to very close to the official levels as well. We haven't been told that any LCs have been stopped because of any reason other than maybe client-customer relationships. But we have seen that the imports have been rising. So obviously, imports are rising because more people are importing. And more people are importing because more LCs are being opened.
Further touching on the issue of recent hikes in domestic LP gas prices, which has touched a nerve throughout households in Sri Lanka, the central bank governor stated that despite the hardships, public companies need to consider the viability of maintaining local prices that are at odds with the global market.
Government institutions should also be conscious. The viability is an important factor. LPG prices have been now revised, which is an important factor as far as viability is concerned. And even the Petroleum Corporation should be looking at their viability. And we would be happy if that is being considered in a holistic manner.
Glow and handsome. AAP multivitamin සහ UV filters දෙගුණයකින් වැඩි දීප්තියක් ලබා දෙයි.
මූණ ගැන හිතන්න. හිරු කිරණින් ආරක්ෂා කරගන්න.